Watch us on YouTube. Listen on your favourite podcast platform. Or ask your smart speaker to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Subscribe, like, follow, and join in now.
Start with Chris, add a dash of sport, squeeze in some music, then shake, don't stir. And you've got the ultimate blend, LTID, with your host, Chris.
What the fuck?
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, goodbye, hello, wherever you are. Welcome to another edition of Life's a Pitch. It's another week in the world of football. It's another controversy. They say a week's a long time in politics. I reckon it's pretty much a long time in football as well. This is LTID TV from Leicester Till I Die, live on, well, we're not live actually, it was a pre-record for various reasons this week. Things should be back to normal tomorrow, but we're on YouTube. Thank you for joining us and watching. Whether you agree with what I'm about to say or not, look, we all have opinions. We live in a free country. Add yours to the comments below. But please, if you do, add something that is going to put your opinion over. Don't just criticise me or anybody else that's made a comment because you don't agree with them. It's easy. It's easy to do that. Oh, you're an idiot. I don't agree. No, add something to it. So please add to it in the comments below. If you're listening to us on a podcast, thank you for lending me your ears. I'll clean them out and give them back to you later. Leicester Till I Die is available on all major podcast platforms. Alternatively, you can ask your smart speaker to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die. Why you've got to say play the podcast, I know not, but you do. So play the podcast Leicester Till I Die, or you can follow us on any of our socials, which you can see running across, well, going across the bottom there, not running across the bottom, running almost the same as I am when I do my exercise, which is not a fast run at all. But look, Life's a Pitch. You know what this is? It's my rant show. Are Liverpool fans wrong to boo the National Anthem? Look, we all know that it has been the coronation. If you're working, I don't. As you know, I've taken early retirement. But if you have been working, you've had a nice long weekend, a couple of extra days off, a 4-day weekend. If nothing else, it must have been good for that. And I'm sure if you don't support the king or you don't support the monarchy, that you're not going to say, well, actually, he's not my king, so therefore I'm going to go into work. Of course you're not. I wouldn't, and I wouldn't expect anybody else to. But there's a lot of controversy, obviously, around the royal family. You know, the argument is, look at all the money they bring into the country. Look at, when they go on trade missions, it helps us to get deals with other countries if member of the royal family's there. And again, I said that having William in our World Cup bid didn't really help, did it? But look, there's all those arguments. Probably the main argument is that that everybody says is, well, we didn't vote them in. And they are very rich. They have a lot of money. Yes, they do. They are very privileged. On that privilege point, I think, first of all, let's just say that I think Charles is making attempts to cut back on the number of royals that are not that are sort of able to sort of live off the state. You look at Andrew. I mean, that's another story, for another argument for another day. But look, none of us agree with what's gone on there. We know, a bit like with Jacko, we'll never know the truth about these things because of how it's been paid off, etc., etc. But look, he's marginalised him. He's put him to the side. Harry, Meghan, whether you agree with them or not, He's marginalised them. Why should they get all this if they're not part of the royal? So he is taking that advantage, or taking steps to cut back the size of the royal family, in as much as that lives off the state. He's not voted in. Well, that's actually probably a good thing. Somebody posted recently on one of my socials that the royal family is a guarantee against dictatorship. Now, I don't know if I would go that far or not, but look, if we didn't have the king as a head of state, or the queen, rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth. But look, if we didn't have that, who would be our head of state? Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Recently, we'd have had 3 or 4, because we'd have started off with Boris, we'd have gone to Liz, and now we'd have Rishi. So we are going to be getting heads of state that we voted in, or in the last 2 cases, to be honest, not voted in. Let's be honest. So you're not, people have said, well, as you can see there on that sign, he's not our king. But then again, you've got to say, well, how would you feel if Rishi Sunak was like, well, what would in all fairness be our president? Half the country, you could argue over half the country, wouldn't have voted for him. But look, the question is, are Liverpool fans wrong to boo the national anthem? No, I think they've every right to boo the national anthem. And look, this is football fans. This is football fans, not the whole of Liverpool. And this is something we've got to remember, because you see that at the football match. Not my king, Liverpool FC. This is Anfield. It was a live game on Sky, so it's going to be getting the boos. But then with the FA Premier League right to say you have to play the national anthem? Should that not be left to each club to decide? Well, okay, this is going to go well here. It's not. No, I think we will. We won't. It is up to the clubs to decide. Now, Liverpool made the decision to do it, but they were told that they should be doing it, which you could again argue isn't right, and it's undemocratic. But it is just the football fans, because that's, like I say, is a scene or a picture taken. It's been all the presses, probably one of the main pictures, and of course we've seen a lot of the demonstrations. Not my king. And I don't want to get into the sort of like, we've discussed that. We're going on to the football now, but let me take Liverpool, because everybody's saying, oh, it's Liverpool, and I have jokingly said, I went on my mate Doug's chat the other day. I would say mate, a Facebook mate, but I went on to his chat the other day, yesterday, and said, well, are we now entitled to boo You'll Never Walk Alone? And yes, we have every right to boo You'll Never Walk Alone, because that's the democratic country we live in. But we've got to remember, and I also joke that, like, all the Scousers claim not to be want to be British, and yet they'll take British benefits and British hubcaps and all the sort of stereotypical sort of jokes. That is banter at the time and should be taken as banter. But that is, you could argue, 50-odd thousand people in a football ground. Probably not every one of them, because I did see some Liverpool fans at the ground holding up flags supporting the monarchy. And look, the local Liverpool paper, which is the voice for the people in Liverpool, and I've defended the Liverpool fans with the criticism, everything that's gone on over recent years. This was their headline on their website: 15 amazing pictures at King Charles III coronation street parties. And they then proceeded to show 15 pictures. That particular one there, as you can see, is a picture of a party held in September Road in Anfield, to celebrate the coronation of King Charles III today. That doesn't get the press coverage, obviously, that he's not our king does. So let's just say it isn't every Liverpool person, it isn't every Liverpool fan, because like all fans, they have fans that are from Scotland, as Doug will know, or he's Scottish, that's why. They'll have fans from all over the world, etc., etc. And you've also got, you had the Jamaican head of state or whatever it was there, and the Australian head of state there yesterday. Yet both those countries, the leaders want to become republics. So it is a very, very controversial decision. But this is a little bit, to me, OTT. And there's really only one person, I think, that should come up with this. Piers Morgan in the Mail online, and it's also reported in Liverpool, and the biggest selling paper in Liverpool, the Mirror, reported as well. Piers Morgan slams pathetic Liverpool fans who booed "God Save the King" after the national anthem was drowned out ahead of Reds' 1-0 win over Brentford on Coronation Day. Now, don't, if you're going to make a comment on it, please just say, "Oh, well, look, it's the Mail. Look at, Tories, one of the Tories' biggest, supporting papers." Is also, like I say, in the Daily Mirror as well. I just don't have that particular graphic, but check the Daily Mirror out. It's in that as well. Were they pathetic? No, they weren't. Because we live, like I say, in a democracy. And in a democracy, you have a right to show or stage protests. I mean, there was protests, obviously, at the coronation yesterday itself, people holding up big yellow placards, "Not my king." They are entitled to do that, just as the Liverpool fans are entitled to boo at the national anthem. Have you ever booed at when we've been playing Argentina, or when we've been playing Germany in internationals? Yeah, we kind of boo the national anthem of the Germans or the Argentinians or the Spanish or whoever we play, and they boo ours. Now, I'm not going to go down the GMB and Adele, whatever it was called, Adele presenter who said, "Oh, it all goes back to the war." Bollocks! Does it go back to the war? It goes to the fact that we beat them in the World Cup, and we'd only beaten them once since. Argentina. It is football rivalry, but everything these days has to be putting into an excuse as to this is why they do it. There's a reason they do it is because they don't agree with something. And it's as plain as simple as that. But the woke society we live in today is always going to say, "Oh, why are they doing that? There's got to be a reason other than they just disagree. Well, it's because of this." And I don't even think that this was because, and I'm not belittling the Hillsborough 96, no fan should ever go to a match and not expect to come home. So I'm not saying that, but one or two people I've seen have put it all down to that, and I don't think it is. In a little way, that kind of probably puts that what happened there down a little bit, because that wasn't down to the king. That wasn't down to the royal family. You could say by association it was, but the king or the queen at the time, whether it was a Labour government, a Liberal government, Conservative government, a Mr. Blobby government, the queen would have been the queen. So you can't, I don't believe, attach that. You can attach that to the government. You can who you can say who covered, tried to cover things up, who supported the police, etc., etc. But you can't put it down to the royal family for that. CNN did a thing today, which was very good. I was reading why Liverpool fans booed while national anthem played at Anfield for King Charles. The club confirmed, and I'll just read this out here. Liverpool fans have a history of booing the national anthem, most recently doing so before last season's FA Cup final at Wembley. Many also booed Prince William when he appeared on the pitch that day. The club confirmed it would play "God Save the King" ahead of the match against Brentford on Saturday to respect the coronation of King Charles III, despite admitting that many supporters held strong views on the issue. The decision came after the Premier League requested that the national anthem be played ahead of every match of the weekend, which took place on Saturday. Now, why again we shouldn't criticise Liverpool fans for booing Prince William, because I can say they're entitled to. They are entitled to. I'm just going to actually bring this page up if you just bear with me a second. Um, and all this sort of, we've always had the king or the whoever from the royal family attends, walks on the pitch. So what? We always shit in our nappies when we're young. It doesn't mean we still do it when we're 60 odd. So let's get a bit of reality to this. So here we go. So like you say, there we go. Not my king. I don't know whether that's been photoshopped or not. But look, basically, you saw the picture earlier, and why fans boo. Now this makes very interesting reading. So bear with me. So why exactly do Liverpool fans have a history of booing the British national anthem? The answer has everything to do with the history of the city itself. Liverpool suffered during the deindustrialisation of the UK economy in the 70s and 80s. In 81, appalling economic conditions combined with tension between the police and the African Caribbean community resulted in 9 days of riots in the city. In the aftermath of the unrest, Margaret Thatcher's government talked of a managed decline of the city. During the decade of the Conservative rule, Liverpoolians came to see themselves as outsiders. Well, again, fair enough. Fair enough. It is very much a Labour stronghold. Maybe one or two Lib Dems in there as well. Let's be honest with you, any Conservative that's going to walk through Liverpool and knock on a door and say, "Oi, vote for me," is probably got a death wish. All joking aside, but look, they they have every right to feel like this. They did. I lived through that, and they had a local councillor. I can't remember his name. He was in the news for opposing everything that the government did, and I can't remember the gentleman's name, but again was very much entitled to. And I think Thatcher saw that almost like the Arthur Scargill, like it was an affront to her. It was a challenge to her position. And whether you're conservative or liberal, you've got to accept that. If you're in a position of power, you've got to accept that. During the decade, the Conservatives came to see as outsiders, separate from the rest of the country. In the States, handling of the Hillsborough disaster in 1989 further entrenched those anti-establishment feelings. Yeah, like I said, I think it's the States, though, not, like I said before, not the Kings. But I understand that. I totally understand that. Booing of the national anthem at football matches when the team played at Wembley, which was frequent given Liverpool's dominance of English football in this era, became widespread and remains today. Many fans have the same reaction in the Carabao Cup final in February 2022 and the FA Cup final in 2012. Booing the anthem is a way for some of the club supporters to voice their opposition towards the establishment, and it's a chance to do so before a worldwide audience. And then it goes on to go, the argument here, again, it's a very good argument. High inflation, years of wage stagnation, and the sudden and steep rise in energy prices have left millions of Brits on the brink of poverty. At the same time, the UK government is spending tens of millions of taxpayers' money on a glitzy celebration. Social and economic inequality is something that continues to anger many in the left-leaning city of Liverpool. Significantly, it was Liverpool and Everton supporters who started Fans Supporting Food Banks in 2015, an initiative which aims to tackle poverty in the UK. There we go. Not all fans are bad. Not all fans are bad at all. So look, I'm going to leave on a positive note. So I'm not actually going to put that slide up. I'm going to put that slide up just to show you there in Anfield, September Road, celebrating. So were Liverpool fans wrong to boo the national anthem? No, they had every right to. And I think, when you read that sort of good reporting, if you like, in my eyes, were they actually directing it at Charles, or were they directing it not just at the monarchy, but the whole establishment? What they have to accept, though, Liverpool fans, is, and let's face it, a couple of seasons ago, we saw it when they were very quick to criticise. I'm not sure if it was City. I think it was Manchester City when they played them. Or Manchester. I think they did Manchester United when they had the silence for the Munich, and then the other way around when they had the silence for the Hillsborough 69, and there was booing from either side. If you give it, you've got to take it. Arguments aside, not everybody, as I 100% support the Hillsborough appeal and everything like that was going on, 101%, but I also, got to say, it is people's right to say, look, I don't like that, and I'm going to boo. So it does work both ways. So what I'm saying is, Liverpool fans, is you cannot have a moral high ground on one and then go and do it opposite on another. It has to be consistent. That said, were you wrong to boo the national anthem? 1,000% no. You had every right to boo the national anthem, and that is your way, just as you boo players at the end of the game. It's your way of showing your displeasure. And like we say, let's not paint the whole city with the same brush. Because look, you can see there in Anfield, street parties. So respect to Liverpool fans. Quite funny if they beat Man United to the top four, wouldn't it, after the season they've had? But that's been just a little personal thought there. But no, look, you were right to do it in my eyes. All joking and all banter aside, you were totally right within your democratic rights to do that. Agree with me? You don't have to. You don't have to at all. If you've listened to this and you've stuck with me for the 20-odd minutes, thank you. You've done well. Please agree or disagree with me in the comments below, but please keep all your comments respectful. Add to the discussion. Do not shoot the messenger. I can say I think that the fans were correct. But whether I think they were correct or not is another matter. Because that's your personal choice. It's like, do you want Liverpool to beat Man United to the top four or Man United to beat Liverpool? You have your choices. But I totally 100% support their right to boo, if they want to, the national anthem. Piers, wind your neck in a little bit. I do agree with a lot of what you say, but wind your neck in on this one. Thanks to everybody who's listened. Like I said, please add your respectful comments in the comment boxes below. Don't forget, please, to subscribe, like the video. It does help get it seen in more places over the internet. Click the subscribe notification bell. You will then never, ever, ever miss another show. And don't forget, for only $1.99 of your good English pounds, you can join and become a member. And the more members we get, I am looking at doing member-only shows. I will see you. We'll be back hopefully for a review, late as it is, of the Everton and our current situation. And we'll be back as well Monday night for the live watch-along. We'll be back live for that one against Fulham. Enjoy your bank holiday weekend, or what's left of it. Whichever way you do, God save the king, or not my king, whichever side of the fence you fall on. Stay safe, enjoy yourselves. Raise a glass for me. Take care. See you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.